I'm going to rate some of my favorite Marvel moments on a scale of oh my to just plain brutal. Definitely prepare yourself for the last three, and obviously, spoilers. Sam Wilson is as much a stranger to conflict as booze is to brothels. He's a battle-hardened veteran with dozens of successful missions on his resume. They're usually clean, efficient even. He's basically the Gronkowski of bad guys second in goals. That's a sports ball reference. To help him with said endeavors, Falcon also has a catalog of murder toys ranging from his iconic wingsuit to akimbo handguns to tactical explosives. And luckily for us, the viewers, we get to see him at his best in Endgame, throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Thanos' horde. In the scene where Hawkeye and friends are running with the gauntlet, there's a massive beast just batting through the crowd like a Lord of the Rings war elephant, and in a don't blink or you'll miss it scene, Falcon spectacularly performs his finishing move. He swoops down at full speed and spears the beast with a Drax-like yell. He uses his wings themselves, lunging them deeper into its important parts, killing it instantly. And I'll be the first to say that was a full redemption from his draw with the ant guy, but it still wasn't cool enough to land him a small business loan.
I'm truly sorry.
Before Guardians of the Galaxy was released, I remember talking to my friends about it and hearing a lot of "who?" in response. Despite its award-winning writing, it just wasn't as mainstream as the Spider-Man, Thor, and the other big ones. Fast forward a year later, and the same friends are blasting Awesome Mix Volume 1 on repeat and drinking coffee out of their Groot mugs sitting next to their baby Groot Funko Pops. And let's face it, I was in the same boat. As if his beautifully written dialogue wasn't enough, we get a hero sacrifice at the end from the gentle giant. But right before he offers himself for the others, we see him branch out into violence. Groot has no choice but to go on the offensive, and he does so by preparing a shish kebab of men and slams them around the hallway like an old Windows 98 screensaver. In one hilarious scene, his body count increased by an easy dozen, and he finishes his performance with a "Did I do good, Dad?" smile. Meanwhile, Star-Lord and Drax look exactly how we are feeling in that moment. Oh, Scarlet Witch. Forgive my bias, huge fan by the way. She tends to find herself in situations that are often over her head more than not. In the beginning of the much anticipated Civil War, we find our heroes in Lagos, Nigeria, confronting the leanest, meanest 56-year-old man on the roster who's attempting to steal some biochem weaponry. After getting his ass whipped by Cap though, he surrenders willfully and settles to live out his life sentence as Bruce Banner's pool boy. Okay, maybe next season of What If we're lucky. Of course, he refuses to accept defeat and detonates a suicide vest to take Steve Rogers with him to the grave. At that very moment, Wanda expertly contains the explosion in an energy sphere, but foolishly, unfortunately, redirects it into a building, killing a total of 26 innocent Wakandan and Nigerian workers. The look on her face is pure horror knowing what she just did. Elizabeth Olsen plays it off as genuine tragic accident, and she never got the acknowledgement she deserved for saving Steve Rogers and the civilians nearby. Instead, she's buried by the rubble of her guilt for years to come. Her mistake in Lagos will undoubtedly haunt her for the rest of her life, albeit not a graphic scene, but certainly one that caught me off guard.
Lagos, for when you make a mess, you didn't mean to.
Speaking of holding on to guilt for too long, after Thanos dusted half the universe, our heroes pay him a surprise visit on his peaceful Farmville planet. In search of a way to bring back their loved ones, catching him off guard, they quickly overpower the Mad Titan and he reluctantly gives them a hand. Just not in the way they were originally intending. Turns out the Infinity Stones are fried beyond repair and there's nothing they can do to help them. Instead, we get a heartwarming scene back and forth where Nebula and her now one-armed father are lightly bonding for the first time since her childhood. Thanos admits maybe he was too hard on her the whole time. And out of nowhere, we get a surprise side of decapitation. Without even looking the scene up, I could still picture that dense purple pumpkin head flopping to the floor. Thor has held on to the guilt of his own defeat, and he couldn't wait another second to settle the score. Oh yeah, and some of that purple pumpkin juice splashes directly on his daughter's face. Lattes, anyone? Now that we're starting to get warmed up, let's talk about the scene that inspired this list in the first place. This year brought us 3 great new series straight to Disney Plus, and honestly, they're all pretty good. They fleshed out some great new characters too, including a new American icon, John Walker. John Walker grew up an all-American athlete and a straight-up genetic specimen. Even without the super soldier serum, he broke the charts in speed, strength, endurance, intelligence, everything. But take it from his own words, he doesn't want to replace Steve Rogers, he just wants to be the best Captain America he can be. A symbol of hope for a nation that's been through enough and is rapidly changing with the uprising of the radical flag smashers. However, we see small cracks begin to shine through the facade early on. Just as Steve Rogers had Sam Wilson at his side, Walker has his best man Lamar Hoskins as the yin to his yang. Unfortunately, their bromance doesn't get the opportunity to flourish for another trilogy because in a confrontation with said flag smashers, and even if by accident Lamar is Spartan kicked into a concrete pillar and dies on impact. In shock, the guilty party scurries away like mice, correctly assuming, by the way, the retaliatory wrath that's about to unfold. This all happens in an episode titled The Whole World is Watching. With a Black Mirror-like chain of events, Walker bursts through the windows and hunts down the first fugitive he sees. After disabling him, regardless of the man pleading his innocence, and with a crowd full of spectators broadcasting every movement to the country he is representing, he uses the literal symbol of hope to bludgeon the innocent man to death. Talk about dark. What is this, the DC universe? I remember saying holy shit to my roommate, and we both just sat there in silence until the episode panned out with him holding the blood-stained shield. This was not only a turning point for the character, but one of the single best Marvel scenes I have seen since Endgame. It was literally the MCU version of
Stop! He's already dead.
and I loved every minute of it. Keep in mind that last entry was rated TV-14, by the way. It's intended for a younger audience to enjoy and remain under that family-friendly umbrella. But you know who's not? Deadpool.
I'm so glad I left the kiddos at home.
Deadpool was Marvel's first full-length superhero feature to holster that sweet R rating, and they milked it for every ounce they could. It was dripping with fourth wall breaks, sex montages, and the gratuitous violence that we signed up for when we bought the tickets in the first place. Unsurprisingly enough, it smashes the box office, earning over $780 million US. A sequel was guaranteed. 2 years later, our wish was granted, and it came with a new baddie known as the Juggernaut. So the stage was set. What happens when you cross the unstoppable force with the unkillable object?
I'm gonna shove that cab driver right up your ass.
My body and my hands are so soft.
Sounds about right. Luckily for our main character, Juggernaut had its X-Men-ish power limiters on him for a majority of the story. Unluckily for our main character, literally the first 60 seconds after being freed from said prison, he grabs Deadpool and rips him in half with his bare hands. Even though he gave us a clear heads up,
I'm gonna rip you in half now.
That is such a Juggernaut thing to say.
seeing Ryan Reynolds being severed in two, oozing with guts and glory, left me feeling uneasy. Thankful, but uneasy. Furthermore, this turned into one of the best running jokes of the entire series with the following baby leg saga. 2 images that I will never shake from my memory.
Legs! Still hurts to hear out loud.
Before we get to the finale, I have some honorable mentions that can fit anywhere, honestly. But they either lack continuity or they just weren't fleshing out for algorithmic runtime today. All of which were awesome. Black Widow versus her own nose. Scarlet Witch yeeting Proxima Midnight into that giant spike wheel thing. And the death of Gwen Stacy in the Amazing Spider-Man run. I wanted to at least revisit that scene once more before we get spoiled with an all-canon Spider-Verse, because man, that one hurt. Now prepare yourselves, because some of you might not have seen this one yet, and those who have seen this are going to know right away exactly where this is going. The Punisher, if you're looking for something Marvel related that'll help you work up a sweat, led by my dude Shane from The Walking Dead, picking up 14 Emmy nominations, including one for stunt choreography and another R rating, it's no surprise that this show tops off my list today. Bustle.com actually did a hilarious article on this show entitled How Violent is the Punisher, and long story short, there's a reason why the show isn't called The Cuddler. Episode 1 starts off with many violent shootouts, stabbings, bone breaks, and some very creative uses of a sledgehammer. But today we're going to be talking about Season 1 finale. I won't spoil all of the details leading up to it because seriously, go watch it if you haven't. But the Punisher fights his former best friend, who was also a highly skilled murderous hitman named Billy Russo, to a near stalemate, with both of them teetering in and out of consciousness. After 6 minutes of non-stop brutality, Frank gains the upper hand by utilizing a broken glass picture frame. After a large shank, he reverses their position and smashes Billy's head into the broken glass on the wall, puts all his weight into it, and he slowly but forcefully pushes the side of his face alongside the massive wall of broken glass. It is disgusting. The screams are agonizing, and there is blood everywhere. And you'd think it would end there, but nope. Dying is easy, he says. The torture continues for another 2 minutes, all of which involving glass and a bone-chilling monologue from John Bernthal. So there you have it. If you made it this far, feel free to subscribe to Nerdy Bit for more. Thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Like this video, and most importantly, comment below. Did I miss any good ones? Was there anything else in the MCU movies or TV series that should have been included? Where there was like a holy crap moment or something you just didn't expect from a character like the Groot one? I feel like there's a lot more that need to be mentioned, but didn't want to make this 20 minutes long. I've also been playing the heck out of Final Fantasy XIV on Twitch, so if you're up late on weekdays, come hang out. Links are in the description below. Now, I'm gonna go watch some Food Network or something to get that glass scene out of my head. I'll see you next time. Good night.